is, of course, it's our day 12, the last day for this training. Wanted to discuss a few things on the what next now, but of course, in line with that, we also wanted to now take a flashback and answer this now. Why should we learn Python programming? So this is something that we started with when we launched this course. Actually, I think on Tuesday, the first Tuesday last week actually. So we talked about this. So we covered a bit of a few more things, some concepts, some ideas as to why you should learn Python. And today, of course, we want to revisit those. And probably some of those now will start to make sense to you guys, because at least you now have some ideas of programming. And of course, I must admit, we all have different levels of understanding, like in the sense of how fast we can pick new things, the learning curve, and so on. So we also understand and acknowledge that some of you might be a bit far, but of course, we provided a platform for you guys to ask questions. If you need anything, just jump or on Slack and then drop your question there. Someone will try and help you out, or even on the call. But I'm glad at least towards the last days, at least few people were able now to post questions on the chat. People were asking, people were interacting, and so that was very, very helpful, given the fact that even the training was a remote program. Yeah. So now back to why learning Python programming, and of course, why was it the choice of a tool that we thought might be useful to you guys? Remember this slide. So the idea was really to expose you guys to technologies that are used probably behind most of the tools that you guys are working on. You might have been using tools which probably have been built with Python, but you did not know before. But actually, ideally, any technology tool, as long as it's a software, then there's some programming language behind it, which was used to build that tool. So it's important that you guys have that understanding. But again, for you guys to see an opportunity that, okay, if I have some basic understanding of coding, then I can really use that knowledge to, create my own, my own tools or my own programs, like small programs to simplify something. Or maybe there could be a problem that no other company out there that is building software has ever identified that, but you have seen it, and then maybe using that knowledge, you can work towards addressing that. Not necessarily that you write everything, but sometimes since you have the knowledge of programming, then that could allow you to even think about it and pull people together, and then guys, let's work on this, then you deliver that. But of course, appreciating the tools that you're using, that's also another thing, because you have been in this training. Some of the things, they are not that easy. Some of the things are hard. So when we learn and understand these things, then definitely it will give you that sense of appreciation to these tools, and of course even love to use them, because if there's a tool that does certain thing to simplify something in your line of work, probably before this you might have been, what is this? But now you might start to see that tool with a different perspective, and then appreciate it more, love it more, and even use it wisely to increase your productivity. But of course, there are so many opportunities in coding, so many opportunities. As we say this over and over and over, that you guys, you have a different line of profession. You are healthcare professional, practicing different disciplines in that domain. Adding now coding to that really brings even more power for you guys to deliver even more beautiful things out there for the community to enjoy. And so adding together or merging coding together with the skills that you already have, puts you in a position where you can think way beyond what software engineers could think. Because if you are to build a medical solution or healthcare related solution, then you are in a better position to either build provide those solutions, or be in a team, in teams that really builds those solutions. And of course, by you being involved in such kind of projects, then it means we are going to build tools which really are going to address the problems that you might be facing or the communities are facing. Yeah, so there are opportunities. It's just us now to start opening our eyes and see, okay, maybe I can use this skill to address that problem. I might be missing something, but at least I have somewhere to start. Then I can call someone, I can share this idea with someone, and then together we can work together to address that challenge. But of course, we talked more in data science a bit, like using Python, you import modules, and then using those modules to visualize some data. We did a bit of few examples, but again, we told you, and we even shared the pandas library, which could allow you to work with data and so on. So there is also a lot of opportunity, or like a very big ground that you guys can apply programming, can apply the knowledge of coding that you now have to venture even in data science. Imagine that you as a healthcare professional adding data science to that, and then now starting to provide healthcare solutions that applies data science in them, then you're going to do wonders in that sense. So really, the program was meant to inspire you guys and to open your eyes into seeing that there are opportunities, there are other things that you can add to your career, and which could add even more value to the skills that you already have. But of course, remember this slide, actually, we also talked about this. Yes, you are currently practicing your profession, you do your work, but now there are tools which are coming. Different people, they're using these tools to build technological solutions that could do the same things that human being does. But the big question here is whether will health professionals be replaced by artificial intelligence or data science in general? So those are kind of like a big questions that we should be asking ourselves. But of course, with the skills that you have, you might have seen how powerful programming languages can be, how powerful programming languages can be in terms of providing solutions that are really contextualized, solutions that could address so many issues or challenges that human beings are facing. So it is important. So these tools, like here in this slide, you see, yes, there's this specialist here, I don't know, whatever he's doing, but also probably he's analyzing the sample, the blood sample, to check for malaria. But again, there are tools that have been built to do the same thing. So you see the mobile phone. Let me see if I can get my laser pointer. Yeah, so you see there's a mobile phone here. So this mobile phone actually has a camera behind it. We all know that because we are using smartphone, or at least we know that that's how they are. So the camera actually was placed where a normal human being will put his own eye. And so the camera is actually seeing what a normal human being eye would see, but now that eye is actually seeing whatever the blood contains. And then since this application has been trained to identify, like malaria has a certain pattern. So whether you're a human being specialist looking at the blood sample, there are things that you normally look at to determine whether this person is really having malaria or not. So the application now using Python is also trained to do the same thing. We only give it so much data, like different cases where malaria is like his presence is present in human body. And then now, so with that image, these models or applications can learn to also see and predict whether, yes, this person maybe is 90% malaria positive also. But again, how many diseases are there? So there are so many things that we can still use technology to address them. We can still build models using Python as a programming language to do that. It's important that we understand this. Yes, at some point, who knows, maybe really health professionals might be replaced. But again, we said at the time, you can never really replace human being with a machine, because human beings, they have a lot of things extra that machine could never have. But these are questions that people should be thinking about. That's why now, with the same question now, like, why not you being a part of the solutions? Because this was the most important thing, or the goal that you guys had to have in your mind. The program was there for you guys to ask as many questions as you would have wanted to, because the team was here. We couldn't actually have anticipated everyone's of you thoughts, so we wanted you guys to bring them up, and then we talk. And we even said that this is a talk and not like a lecture thing, but we wanted to talk and discuss issues, and the goal was for you to understand. But whether health professionals will be AI or not, the key thing here is for you guys to being part of the solution. So learning this is one way of achieving that. So you are already a health professional. So adding Python to you now will even add that other thing for you to start thinking now, to start thinking as a health professional who can also code. And of course, even if now artificial intelligence become to be so present in our lives now, it means now you won't have to start pushing yourself, maybe learning something new to have a career of sorts so that you can, provide for your family or, feed yourself. So you won't have to do that. Why? Because you have this extra skill, which is now heavily applied in your line of professional. So the only thing that you'll have to do is to apply it in your day-to-day activities and see which different ways you can use that same knowledge to address the challenges that are surrounding you, or to add even more value to your skills that you already have. So it's important. So this training was mainly for that. I hope for those who were able to see that, we are happy for that. But again, as we have been saying, that the platform, all our Slacks will be open. You have access to the videos. You can go back to the learning. We'll also share some books with you guys for you to continue learning towards the end of this, actually at the end of this session. So we want you guys to continue learning. But as we said again, we just want to build some kind of a community whereby we have these health professionals who are really passionate about doing some coding. And then you have these guys who are so good at coding. You guys, you work together to provide solutions, healthcare related solutions. That would be a very, very nice thing for this country, for East Africa, for Africa, and even for the world. So we should have that kind of thinking as we approach the end of this training, but also just for this session, since even next week, the team will be available to continue working with you guys and provide the support that you will definitely need. So it's important to think of it this way. Having this skill, will put you in a position whereby you will end up being part of the, solutions that will be coming up, whether they're using artificial intelligence or maybe data science, or whichever the solutions that people will be coming up with, then you'll be not only a consumer, but also part of the people who create these solutions, because you also have the skills. Yeah, but of course, Python was introduced to you guys because of its nature. It's a beginner's language. Really, like there are some other languages that we wouldn't have even been able to talk about variables in all these 2 weeks. Even variables in data type. There are some languages that are, given the fact that you like most of you do not have prior knowledge in computer science or computing, and so we would have taken the whole of these 2 weeks talking about just variables in data type. But of course, with Python, at least we were able to touch a number of things in this language. Yes, some might have felt difficulty for some of you, but I believe there are a lot of you also who were able, as I said, like those who were able to attend the sessions, and even when you missed a session, but you watched the video and you went on doing the assignments, and so you must have picked something. So Python is really a beginner's language, and you should be inspired to even pursue it further. There's quite a lot that you can do with Python, but again, I still insist, we are still on Slack. So if you have anything, just drop it there. Guys, I'm trying to achieve this. Can I get a support? Then we'll love to do that, because the lab is really is there for that. And I believe even Wimbili now is here to provide us support for people who are interested in pushing this, putting tech in their day-to-day activities. We just want that to be a real thing. We want to realize that dream and see people really doing that. So it being a beginner's language should give you that platform to learn without any hassle. Yes, as Scott said, we won't promise you that this will be easy, but if you really love this, if you want to pursue this, then definitely you'll start to see things are coming, and you'll start seeing that you're understanding. And because there is a team, there are people who are ready to work with you. There are people who are ready to really discuss issues with you. If you are facing any difficulty, there's someone who is ready to help you out of that issue. Then you should be able to learn this and even see more value of it. But of course, Python supports a wide range of applications across so many domains. We were touching a bit of data science in this training, but we have also been saying that there are other fields can apply Python. If you venture into building websites, then you can do that. Python can offer that. If you want to venture into building desktop applications that people are installing on their computer, then you can do that. If you want to venture into building mobile applications, then you can do that. But of course, the very big question that you should always be asking yourself is, why are you doing what you are doing? Do you want to do websites? Then good. Or do you want to build mobile apps? Then that's good. Do you want to build desktop applications? Then that's good. But why do you want to do that? You know, is that a line of work that you want to go? If that's the case, then please go that. But of course, for each of these domains, there will always be something extra that you have to learn. So if you want to use Python to build desktop applications, for example, then there will be some few other things that you have to learn. Most of the time, it's just the modules that you'll need to use, and so because at the end of the day, the very basic or the very basics of of Python that you have learned are the same skills that you're going to use, whether you're going to build mobile apps, or you're going to build websites, or you're going to build desktop application, or you're going to use Python in data science. Importing the modules is the same in all these disciplines. Functions, they're the same in all these disciplines. Lists, dictionaries, tuples, they're all the same in all these disciplines. So there's nothing that is going to change. Only that a few concepts, that you have to learn to understand. Okay, if I want to build desktop applications, for example, what is needed for me to do that? So that's something which you must know. But of course, Python, as I've said, is a very, very simple language. It's something that you should be able to use it. And of course, if you have a support team for you to learn it more, then believe me, we are talking about this from fact, because I know, even Scott will second this, that we knew a friend or a person who had a background in, who was actually a fisherman. He had no background in coding also. He was a fisherman, So imagine, like, if I would use a case of Ferry there, you go and pick some guy from Ferry there, he's a fisherman, he usually go to the sea in the morning, you fish the fish, come back and then sell the fish. That's how the guy used to be. But of course, the only thing is that the guy actually knew to speak English because he was a Kenyan person. So, but actually, he made it his priority to learn and do Python. And trust me, today, the same person is working with one of the very big companies in USA. He's working as a remote software engineer. Why? Because he had passion. He has drive in himself that really helped him to venture in that direction. So even you can do it. But again, since you also have this other skill, you are a health professional, then why not learning Python in a way that you can really merge it with the skills that you have? Because doing it that way, you'll even be more productive. You even add value to your certificates and so on. So think of it that way. But of course, these are some of the things that we touched. That Python is a very, very simple language in a sense that it's so easy to read the code. You must have seen it already. In this example, probably the first day when we gave it did not make sense to most of you. But now, when you see Dr. name is equal to Eliora Elspeth, then you already know that, okay, so we are doing some assignment here. So we have this value called Ariola Elspeth. We are assigning it to Dr. name. And then Dr. name dot replace, actually, so we are calling this function called replace. And then we are giving the character that we want to replace from the doctor's name with the new one that we want to use. So this should make sense to you now. But of course, Python, as I've just said, is a very, very simple language, making it possible for anyone to start using it, as long as you put that effort. Just start with the right gear, and believe me, you'll enjoy using Python, or adding coding into your line of profession. So just be patient and put some practice. So this is something that we saw really was missing for at least most of you guys. Yeah, I don't know like how many people on this call today, but yeah. So remember, like when we started, there were so many people, but we see a lot of people on Slack, but people are silent. We ask, like we even beg you guys, please ask if there's anything, but nobody asks. So at the end of the day, if people don't practice, there won't be a miracle. You will definitely not understand these things. But for those who were active enough to ask questions, to ask for help, guys, I'm trying this, but I'm getting this error. Can someone help me? You see one or two people jump on your issue, you work it out together, and then you find a solution to that. So practicing and reaching out for support, that was the best approach. But if you just stayed silently, see, okay, I've watched the video, this makes sense, but without practicing, trust me, if I ask you, even if that's a very simple concept, you might find it difficult to explain. But of course, because of that, I know some of you might feel that, I've participated in this training, but I feel like I've not understood like a lot of stuff in it. Yes, that's possible. Of course, as I said, we have different learning, understanding capacity, like with the learning curve. Some understand faster, some they need a bit of longer time, which is why we're extending this time for people to work on projects, and then we keep on supporting them on Slack, and for you guys to deliver those projects. Yeah, of course. And for those who have really not finished working on the assignment, please do that. Yes, we are not pushing you guys, like forcing you to do that, because we know you are mature people, but we need the assignment. At least for those who want their certificates, then the assignments are important to be finished. And then even the project that other people will be working on, it's important that people to practice this and learn a few more things. So Python is a very, very good language. And of course, you can use it to do visualization. And we saw very few lines of code, you can draw different types of charts. Of course, we didn't cover everything, but of course, at least we gave you the foundation, like the fundamentals. Because if you want to plot all these graphs, then maybe you needed to import a certain library. But after having an idea of what a module is, that was very, very important, because now you can even go to Google and search, I want to draw this kind of chart, which modules should I use? You'll see a lot of responses on that. And then you pick the one that, this makes clear sense to me. Just import that module in your code. If it's not in your computer, remember to install it. You just install and then import it in your code. And then you start plotting all these graphs. But of course, data visualization does not only end on us plotting charts, but we want to derive meaning of data. That's why we are doing visualization. So Python can really help you with that, because yes, and I gave you an example of, you might be doing your research, and then in your research, maybe you did you collected data, and then you want to do some unique way of like, visualizing that data or analyzing it. Then you can use Python. Now you have the skill. You can say, okay, I want to plot this kind of graph. Maybe I need to do some calculation. This probably maybe SPSS does not give me that, or whichever tool. If you're using R, maybe, or you are using SAS, for your analysis, and so maybe data presentation. So maybe the tool is not giving you that, or maybe for you to do that, you have to learn some skills, which is so hard. But now you have Python. You can think of, okay, how can I use Python to really make it possible for me to do some, data visualization and such. So Python is very, 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 very powerful. But again, we also talked about Python being a tool that is heavily used in artificial intelligence. And of course, we gave you an example of that, specialist was reading. So whatever, he was doing some observations there. But actually, most of those skills, really, people are coming with models, with tools to do that. If people can even think of coming up with self-driving cars, then why not other solutions? Because actually, self-driving cars, they're used. Like in USA, there are some states, people are using self-driving cars. So artificial intelligence is really coming up with so much power that people can now start to integrate it in different fields of profession. So learning Python, and actually why learning Python? Because Python is heavily used in artificial intelligence. Yes, there are other programming languages that are also used in artificial intelligence, but Python really, if you were to rank, Python would be way, way up there. So there are so many tools that have been built using Python in artificial intelligence than any other language. But of course, you can also pursue some other languages as well. But since now you have some idea of Python, at least you know that this thing called Python that exists and I can use to create some programs, then think of it and take this very, very seriously, because this will help you out. And of course, maybe in some near future, we might organize a full training on artificial intelligence, basically data science, and see how we can use Python with that. And of course, we cannot just jump to talk artificial intelligence if people have nothing in Python, because all the stuff that we'll be using in there, they are all built in Python, for example. So you must know Python first. That's why this course was very, very important. So meaning that when we launch this second training on using pure data science, or maybe machine learning or artificial intelligence as a whole, then we would expect one of the requirements would be that you must have a basic understanding of programming is Python. So for you guys, since you already have it, then much, much easier for you to participate in that. And of course, That's why we still have that Slack channel open. Want people to continue being active. Want to see people continue learning Python, and so growing in their skills, because these are the kind of things that we want to be discussing over the channels. These are the kind of things like, guys, how can we use artificial intelligence to address maybe to predict, I don't know, tuberculosis? How can we use artificial intelligence maybe to predict cholera? And so all those kind of things, because we have issues here maybe probably Western countries may not have. Why not now learning these things and see how we can apply them in our own context? Because other people, they may not think of such things because they don't have those issues, but we have them. So we can now start seeing possibilities or areas in which we can apply it. So having an understanding of Python really is something that is so valuable. Yes, as I've said, we don't expect you guys to know or remember everything that we have covered in this and the past 11 days, but you have some ideas. You have had something. Next time when you hear something like list, you won't be surprised. There's list in Python, but how do I implement it? I've forgotten. Just go to Google. So this is how we did it. Okay, so you remember. At least you have that, fundamental concept. So be proud of yourself, actually, and we expect you guys to keep on learning more and see, like, together now we should start to see in which ways we can now start to apply this coding knowledge or technology into health systems in our countries, continents, in the world in general. So that's something which we want you guys to have in mind and to understand it as it is, but of course keep on learning and never stop there. So, and then like you have seen probably Python as a language can really be used in different areas, whether if you want to work as a data scientist, as a healthcare professional who is a data scientist as well. So there are so many things that that you can do with Python. You can import your data. We saw like using pandas, we imported data. We were able to do some cool stuff with that data. But of course, there are other things that you can do. You can even clean data. And those are the things that you can continue learning about yourself, and of course with us together, depending on what your focus is. But of course, you can visualize data. This is something that we tried and practiced during the training. But of course, we also saw like different Python libraries, like pandas. Of course, this is one that we have used mostly in matplotlib for plotting the charts and so. But of course, there's a library like NumPy, which is heavily even pandas actually depends on NumPy as well. So maybe you want to add on, guys?
Yeah, so I wanted to actually to insist on this data scientist. Of course, you guys who have been working with data, but let me give you another secret. These academicians, also what they normally do. You are given this set of data. I think Timothy is sharing with you and Scott, and they are telling you, okay, analyze this, analyze that. So people would normally do, because we have plenty of data there, and probably you guys who might have that to your offices, you can still use the same data and do some analysis, and in the end of the day, you can be publishing papers, because you keep on, analyzing the data and trying to find different trends. So today we'll come with a specific topic, which actually be very, very nice. You just go, maybe I want to do analysis on tuberculosis. You go and look for the data, just look on the trend. You can just be doing this, we say descriptive statistics, which actually they can also form a very good paper. Maybe you do it maybe in TZ, or you do it in East Africa. So that's how you also grow as an academician or as a professional as well, because you'll be using this plenty of data which is out there, and most of this data are free. You just analyze and then you write your reports, and that's how you gain visibility. So I also urge you guys to continue practicing this. And of course, why now Python will help you, because if you are saying you want to create this, you want to clean the data, you can be writing a script for cleaning your data, and you can use this script to be running all over, instead of you now and then. If you compare maybe to like Excel, you need to, once you have the data, you have to clean that sheet, go to another sheet, maybe you do the same thing. But with Python, you can write a script a script for cleaning your data. So once you just import your data, you run that script, your data is clean. From there, you continue analyzing. Of course, you can also develop a script for analyzing your data. So whatever the data that come in automatic, it's just analyze itself and have the plot or the report that you want to, and you can use that data. Even that's why I'm saying, even the data that you have been trying to analyze, you can try to find and create some story around it, and then at the end of the day, you use that for publication. So I also urge you guys, you should not end up like, okay, I'm just analyzing, so what? So you can just use the data out there, but also if you have access to your office data, you can still use that data. And of course, this one is going to help you a lot as a professional, because it can help you in decision making. Why are we saying decision making? Because if you analyze the data, you can come up with some of the trend or some of the pattern which actually can add more value. Like, okay, we have seen this type of people coming to maybe our hospital, and their behavior like this and this. Can we maybe establish something, maybe a certain, initialize something like, okay, maybe we can run a certain program maybe to limit this. So those are kind of the things actually you can think big and use the skills that you have got here to help you in achieving whatever that you want to. But please, I urge you, I'll continue repeating this, use this wisely. You can just use it to do the publication.
Really see the value of this as a tool that we can use, which is why even us, we are so happy and we are so excited. We are super excited to continue working with you guys in a way that we will help you learn more of coding, and of course together as a team, we see like in which different ways we can apply this knowledge to address some of the solutions, some of the problems around us. So this is very, very important. So we should always remember that. So again, Python is still a very, very good tool, a very good thing. So please know that you did not make a mistake to participate in this program. I know some were on and off because of other responsibilities as well. But of course, if you had time to go through the videos are still available. So from day 1 up to day 11, which is yesterday actually, so you can actually check them out. Go to a specific day and then see what was discussed there. And then if there are anything you did not understand, even a single part of it, drop a question on the chat. Trust me, someone will respond to your question when you drop it there. Because sometimes it might be a bit late, but still someone will be there to help you out. Yeah. So we have talked about this Python being used in machine learning. So because this is it's an elephant in town now. Everyone is talking about machine learning right now. Everyone is talking about artificial intelligence. Everyone is talking about deep learning. So all these different fields and artificial intelligence, people are discussing about them. But of course, as I've said, Python is the language that is used to this. Python is the language that people are using to build all these amazing things that you see there. Today, I gave you an example the other time of Google Translate. You see like a lot of, you can use Google Translate actually to convert any text from one language to another. In the past, it used to be very, very crap, but now it's so intelligent. Like it even give you a clear context of whatever was written in one language to the other language. So, and all this is possible because of machine learning. But again, even in medicine, as we've just touched, there's quite a lot that you can do. There are people who are also using machine learning to predict cancer. There are people, cancer, whether it's cancer, whichever cancer it is, people are doing that, and so on. So, like, there is quite a lot that we can do. But of course, we can really not jump and start talking about machine learning if people really do not have the basic understanding of Python and coding. But of course, there was this example actually Gladys shared with us the other time. I even gave us the source of it. Since you have access to these slides on Moodle, you can also go to that source. But now, I remember, like, I went back and talked about this example when Gladys talked about this stuff. So you can see everything that we learned. So we are importing a module called random. We are importing another module called sklearn, and so and so. We are defining some empty list there. We are assigning it to a variable. We are again creating another empty list for target set and feature set, and so getting the number of rows wanted from the data set, that is 200. They're the same, like maybe you read data using Panda read CSV, and now you want maybe a certain number of rows to work with, then you just do that, so limiting that. So all these, the things that you see here, we are having a for loop here, there's nothing like which is out of ordinary here. So it's almost the same thing. Some they might have a different feeling, but the concept of how they work is still the same. It is exactly as what we discussed during the session. So now it should be possible, at least for some of you, to, when you see this script, you can make a sense out of it. Yes, it may not be the whole of it, but at least when you look at the script, you can make a sense of it. Because it is also possible that you may not be the one to build a specific tool or maybe a specific model. Let's say if you're doing some artificial intelligence stuff, but you might get a script like this one, and then maybe you need to alter some few things in there. But if you do not know Python, then definitely you won't be able to touch a single line. But if you have an idea of what is happening, then you're going to, okay, maybe I can change this list to something else, or maybe I can reduce it to this size for it to work as it should work, and so on. You know what to do when you see them. So it's very, very important to remember that the fundamental or the basic knowledge that we have covered during these 11 days was so crucial, and it's very, very important for you guys to continue using that. And of course, lastly, we also talked about this, like, Python can be used, and of course it's used in a number of applications out there. And this is to show you how powerful this language is, and of course, to even inspire you and to tell you guys that you made the right decision to be a part of this training, because the skills that you have learned, like, they're so valuable, and you can proudly use them or apply them in so many other fields out there. But of course, we need to build on that. If you stop doing this today, because it's the last day, trust me, next week you'll be as blank as any person, or as you joined the first day last week. But of course, if we keep on practicing this, you'll see that this thing gets stick in your head, and then you know exactly how to work with Python, or how to use Python. And so, but keep on learning. All these applications that you see there, whether it's YouTube, Spotify, even Google itself, of course, it has some parts which uses Python, Instagram, Dropbox, and these other tools. They were all built using Python. So Python is a very, very good language, but of course, when it is applied to a specific domain, then it becomes even more powerful, and especially when it is applied by someone who is a professional in that field. So we believe, and we have strong faith in you guys. You'll be working so hard on this. You'll continue learning Python, but also you'll start looking into which ways now you can start to apply Python in your day-to-day activities. So having said that, guys, I would really like to thank you so much for the time that we have spent together. Maybe this is for me. I know Scott is here. Scott, if you have anything, can you please give your final remarks? I'll also talk again, and then invite Gladys and Linda so that they can also talk. But and Linda now will guide us of what is next.
Yeah, thank you, Timothy. Actually, my closing remarks, I think Timothy has said most of the things in the powerful slides that he has been sharing today. But also, my thanks go to actually a number of departments, all of which have contributed, to Linda and Mohimbili, and to the lab, Timothy and Gladness. They've really, really been drivers in this. But most importantly, it goes to the learners or the fellows. It's actually a depiction of many things, persistence, commitment. Like we said on the first day of orientation, we've seen actually the consistency has been there, the learning, and to maybe iterate on what Timothy has already said. If you stop practicing now, it's very possible to wake up in 2 days and even declaring a variable, you'll be doubting. That's okay, really. The good thing is that you have really, really known the concept. And if you know the concept, if there is any need, it's just a matter of going on Google and searching, how do I really do this? But what we've actually covered, it was just a tip in the iceberg. There is much, much more that you can do with Python, but it's up to us to go ahead and maintain the passion, the consistency, and the fire. I know it can be difficult if you wake up on Monday and there is no alert of saying we have a session at 3. I don't know at what point you had me last, but what I was speaking about was that the session recordings are available. Please go ahead and rewatch them. If there are any, I could call them a concept, want to like remind yourself, said we are still in the channel. We are still there. We shall be sharing if you need any more help. My main message is that what you've learned, it will actually stay with you for as long as you want it to. Go ahead and practice more. You can only get better at coding if you code some more. Like they say, if you're a fisherman, the more you do that, the better you become. It's the same thing with code. Practice and practice some more. But yeah, there is a lot more that you can do, Python. But I'm very, very grateful and glad that I was a part of this. At least in 2 weeks, we have really covered enough. For me, we have actually exceeded expectation, both as the lab and you as the fellows. What you've learned, it was really, really incredible. Yeah, we are still there. We are still scaling more heights and reaching out to more. Most probably, if all goes well, I don't know, we could have a session. It could be advanced, but we shall be communicating if it's to be there. So fingers crossed. Yeah, that's it from me, Timothy.
Yeah, thank you so much, Scott, for that addition. So, yeah, we would really like to thank you guys, but of course, in a special way, I would also like to thank David and Sam, who have been, of course, in the background, assisting a lot in content. And so I really thank you guys. And of course, all other lab members, because we had a lot of fellows in all the channels. They are there to respond. There's Kevin, there's Christian, there's Faith. We also have Sajad, Steve, and like a lot of these guys who were there to help you guys, to work with you in case when you had questions or issues to be supported too. And of course, this is how the philosophy of the lab is. We work together as a team to make sure that people get an opportunity to learn. And of course, there is where we find our strength. So thank you so much, guys. We are still available in Slack, but of course, remember on Friday, actually on Thursday, we talked about the data that you guys had to work on. So please continue working on that. We need to see people creating some graphs in there. Finish that, because that was assignment 11. So make sure you finish that and then submit that to Moodle. If you cannot access your data, remember Asha actually had that issue. I was able to give her, like download the data for her and give it to her. So, but if there's anyone else who is having the same issue, please just go ahead and drop me a DM. I'll make sure to get you the data that you need to get so that you can finish that assignment. I want you to practice, some data visualization with Python. And of course, if you start using Panda and try it out, it might inspire you to even learn some few more things that you can do with Pandas as a library, but also any other libraries that are there. But of course, in line with that, I'll also talk about the tasks that you guys will have. So, like then starting from Tuesday, actually, because it's holiday on Monday, but actually it depends on you whether you're going to celebrate or you keep on working. But of course, the expectation is that starting from Tuesday, you guys, you are free to work on a project. So the idea is that you go out there immediately after this meeting today. Just go ahead, think of a problem that is, around you, anything, whether it's in your work, in your office, or maybe in your street or in your country, whichever it is. But think of a problem that you kind of feel like you can do that. You can address that problem using programming, and in particular Python. And then of course share that with us so that we can help you to structure it and make at least help you out to see if we can you can finish that project, and then you'll have time to work. Of course, the lab will be there to support you. And we'd love to see people are coming up with those initiatives. It should be something very simple, not necessarily very complex. Anything that is very simple, and then we will work together with you guys. But of course, the idea is for you to have an opportunity to even learn more and apply, the skills that you have acquired. So that's the goal, for you to apply all the skills that you have learned and even go beyond that. Because when you have a real project to to work on, then it might come with some specific requirement that will require you maybe to learn something more, but that's okay, because now you have the basics. Learning that other thing shouldn't be a hard thing. But of course, because the support team is still there, we'll always be there to work with you, to support you, and to make sure that you guys have an opportunity to understand more the things that you have learned, and deliver stuffs. But of course, for those who missed a lot, because I know like there's so many of you guys who missed submitting the assignments, missed some of the sessions, maybe we are not asking questions, we are still there in the channel. Please, if you need, maybe you did not understand, and if you have watched the video, then we can chat that over Slack, and then maybe point you to something that is so easy to understand, and so that will help you out. But of course, the other thing, I'm going to share a zip folder on the coding chat. This folder will have 3 books, 3 Python books, which are free, of course, but should help you to learn more in your own time. So there'll be PDF books. Please download that and then continue learning. But again, anything you have, any question you have, please don't hesitate to communicate with us on Slack. We would love to work with you. We'd love to help you learn. Our desire is really to have a good number of you guys understanding this, and a good number of you guys starting to apply it. We would love to see that now we move discussions into discussing how, like there's this problem, can we do it? And not how do I do this? Because then people have the good knowledge of Python, and we can now start to apply it. So thank you so much.